Hello, this is The Art of Living Well from the Collaborative Body, and I'm your host, Lisa Makala. Welcome to the podcast. One of the things that I really love about my business is that I get to meet and collaborate with amazing women. Collaboration is in the name of my business, and it's a major theme in my work. And today I have a special guest. We're going to be talking with her about her company and how she supports women professionals with their own advancement, success, and fulfillment. So I invite you to take some slow, deep breaths, relax, and help me welcome Kim Boudreau Smith of Her Bold Voice. Hello, Kim.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you for having me here, and I love that. I invite you to take some slow, deep breaths, because we're such a central nervous system society, Boy, that's beautiful. That was gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. So we're here to talk about you today. So please tell us about your background and how you got into this work and what the work is.
Well, I'm a woman. I'm a product. I'm a woman of corporate America. I was climbing corporate ladders and was very, very unhappy. I felt like a caged animal, even though I was in marketing and sales. I wasn't in an office. God forbid if I was in an office all the time. And I just felt like a caged animal. And I was sitting also at tables with lots of men and did not have confidence at that time to be sitting at tables with lots of men. And one thing just led to another. I was always an insane workout person. I'm not anymore. I mean, I from a multitude of unhealthy reasons, I was an insane workout person. And way back, this one gym I was working out at, the management approached me and said, "You know so much about working out. We have women members that would like a female trainer." And that's how I stepped into my fitness business, because I grew up on a stage dancing. So movement physical is a very natural thing to me. And that led me to a fitness business where we didn't even have websites back then. We barely even had computers going on back then. So I was word of mouth in very, very wealthy, big name people's homes for the longest time. And I always had an inside battle with all of that after many successful years of that, and then decided I want to take my business online. So I stepped online and got involved with anthologies, launched an internet radio station, and took a short break and then came back out and just rebranded how I show up for women's voices, hence Her Bold Voice Speaks.
Wonderful. Okay. Great. What an interesting journey, right? I mean, and we're going to have a separate conversation about being corporate refugees, because I totally feel you on that. Yeah, that's a whole interesting thing in itself. But let's stay on the topic here. You have a very specific name for the inner critic that many professional women deal with. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes.
And why it matters?
Well, sure, absolutely. We all have an inner critic, and that inner critic could either keep us small or make us act like Miranda and the Devil Wears Prada, as opposed to being in our natural, confident, power-filled state. And I call the inner critic the hag in the attic and the reason why I call her that is because that's what my inner critic sounds like. She sounds like a hag. But so for many years, I allowed my hag to control me instead of me managing her. So in other words, think about, I'm going to say I have never raised children, but I have a 4-year-old black lab who will do this. Think about trying to control those preteens and outscream those preteens. I have a 4-year-old Luna who I try to outscream her, but boy, she can bark me. That's the same thing with our inner critic. So many people want to kick that IC to the curb. When you do that, it comes back 50 times bigger on steroids. It's a matter of just shifting and learning how to manage that hag in the attic, that voice that goes off. And we all have it, by the way. I'm going to talk to what we all have it, no matter what, like to the levels of corporate that you have achieved, to stepping away, to being a phenomenal business owner. We all have it.
Sure. Yeah. So what are some of the mistakes that many women are making when it comes to their inner critic, to their hag in the attic?
Well, they're still allowing that inner critic to control them, as like I said, as opposed to us managing the inner critic. So, in other words, that becomes our authentic voice when that's false evidence. So that inner critic becomes that we allow that to become our true voice. We hear that voice, which, by the way, the inner critic, in my beliefs, orchestrates the perfectionism, the imposter syndrome, the lack of worth, the lack of self-esteem and confidence. The inner critic is the orchestrator. She's the conductor of that orchestra. And what we do is we allow her to say, okay, today, pull in that imposter syndrome. Oh, we need a dose of that perfectionism. Oh, wait a minute. We forgot about the lack of self-worth. And that's what the inner critic does. It tells us that speak up. You have nothing to say. And if you do have anything, no one's going to listen to you. Or speak up. You speak up in a meeting at a table and, in corporate, not yet. You're still new and you don't have enough accreditations to speak up. That's what she does. And that becomes that false evidence of that untruth of a voice.
Okay. So it sounds like you're suggesting that at times the hag in the attic or the inner critic is important for us, but we really need to know how to think about it in a constructive way so that we can almost leverage it intentionally to help us. Is that am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, and boy, it takes skill, it takes work. It really truly does. So for an example, a couple of years ago, I was speaking at Ford Motor Company, and from my house to get to Ford in Dearborn here in our, in both of your and my backyard here, I remember driving down Southfield and going, are you kidding me? You're going to go speak in corporate? You haven't been in corporate in over 20 years. What is it? And I'm like, whoop. Okay, sister, listen, I know you're here, but I need you in the back seat, not behind my seat where you're kicking it, or in the front seat where you're changing, pushing the buttons on the radio. I just dated myself. In the back seat, managing all those other emotions. You see, she wants a job. She needs boundaries, but we just have to let her know we're driving the bus today. She doesn't get to do it. We need her. Don't go away. We need her, but we don't need her telling us, you're not good enough to be walking in there. And, oh, listen, feel those nerves, oh, you're coming out of that comfort zone. It's just putting her in the back seat and go, can you just go manage the whole symphony of those emotions, please?
Interesting. So it sounds like giving her a job is one of the ways that we can tame the inner critic or the hag in the attic. And when a woman's able to learn those skills, what becomes possible for her? What's the value of this?
Well, gosh, I mean, a woman will be so, first of all, our confidence just goes from almost next to nothing to levels where we so desire to have confidence. Our esteem and the self-esteem is the estimate of ourselves. We become more intimate and connected with our true self-estimate. Our worth becomes extremely worthy. The expression is pull a seat up at the table. Well, I've been in situations where I pulled a seat up at the table and I was sitting there faking it until I was making it, and excuse me, we stop that faking until we make it. We know that we are in that moment extremely worthy, total being, and we deserve to be there.
Okay. So for the professional woman, whether she's in a corporate environment or in her professional career, if she's a business owner or a professional, if she's looking to go after visibility opportunities, where does she want to start?
I'm having a little dust attack in my throat here. Oh, hang on one second. Hold on. Just wait a minute. Ask me that question one more time and let me cough.
Okay, so for professional women, corporate women who are looking for greater visibility opportunities, where's a good place for them to start?
Gosh, those greater visible opportunities. So let's begin with the Kim and Lisas of the world, the business owners, the entrepreneurs of the world. I'm a proponent and a believer of, in order to be successful, you have to be visible.
Mm-hmm.
So you can begin by seeking out a speaking coach. You could begin by seeking out a visibility coach, practicing, get yourself on podcasts like this, get yourself on podcasts, work towards maybe hosting your own podcast. Make sure you're speaking up and you're visible on your social media. And by the way, I have a love-hate relationship with social media, but darn it, it's free. Get your butt out there. It's free. Get your butt out there, make sure that you are involved in groups and that you are speaking up. You are getting very visible and showing up. Now, for the corporate side, the female executive side is, especially as we're shattering the layers of that ceiling, of that glass ceiling, is women need to speak up with their passions and their ideas in corporate America and drop that, oh, I can't say this, I might get fired. There are ways to say things and not sound like a victim or not sound like we're fearful of something. And in corporate, I would really seek out human resource support. Make sure you're communicative with your, and very open with your team leader. Especially if you want to be speaking more and being more visible to climb up those ladders.
Sure. Yeah, those are great tips, which I'm thinking is probably a great lead-in for us to get into talking about your new program that helps women tame their inner critic and move into places of greater visibility with confidence. So tell us about that.
Well, this is a 6-week intensive group coaching program. And when I mean good group coaching is I'm there for 6 weeks, 6 weeks in a row. We're going to tame that inner critic so we can really liberate the authentic voice. We're going to learn how to take these crazy emotions of ours and really make them our superpowers. We are going to do other things where you walk into a room, whether it's virtual like this or physical, and really own the room. We'll go over your introductions, because I'm a big proponent when you're networking, again, online or in person. Introductions are key. And if you don't have those locked down, you can really miss some opportunities.
Okay.
And there's some other things that we are going to do in there. I can't tell all because I don't want women coming in with some preconceived notions.
Okay.
A lot of this is just getting those impromptu speaking muscles going so that your confidence just keeps going like this and growing and growing.
Nice. So the program begins in
January 28th.
Okay. All right. And you said it's a 6-week program.
It is.
Okay, great. And what types of women can benefit from this program?
Well,
who's your ideal client for this program?
Well, any woman that is a female thought leader, so female entrepreneur / female executive, who is still holding themselves back with some imposter syndrome or inner critic thoughts, but has done some speaking, but still would like to land and become more confident so that they can start working on their signature speech and, connecting, getting that message really crystal clear. Also to the woman that is just knows that she needs to be speaking some more and she's not quite sure how to go about doing that.
So that could even be a woman who's in who's not necessarily in the workforce, but who has maybe some challenging interpersonal relationships that she really needs to manage a little more effectively for her own self-worth and value. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So Kim, what's the best way for women who are interested to get in touch with you and learn more about what your program and your other services?
Well, aside from LinkedIn at Kim Boudreau Smith, go ahead and reach out to me over there. But you can go over to my website at kimbsmith.com. You can find out all the other services and opt in if you want. Yes, you will be getting an email from me once a week right now, and learn about things that are going on and stop by over there. And if you do reach out just say, I heard you on Lisa's show, so I know where you're coming from.
Okay, great. Okay, I've got one more question I'm going to throw in just because I'm intrigued. Your business name is Her Bold Voice, and I think the choice of the word bold is really powerful. So would you like to take a minute to talk about that?
Sure. First of all, if you don't mind, I'll share with you how I came to the word bold.
Sure.
So my first two anthologies that I led, the first one, and I pulled 27 women from around the world together, and I couldn't think of a title for this book. And then just one night, that was it. Woke up and I was like, bold, the word bold. And the publisher that I was working with, who's got some strong marketing background, she said, that is phenomenal, because my before married name is Boudreau. So there were the B's, Kim Boudreau Smith, and then the bold. So the first anthology was around the word bold. The second one was too. And then the first anthology, we were pre-marketing the launch of the radio station. And so I just kept going with the word bold, branding, because of the bold. But here's what bold really truly means. It's not being courageous. It's being brave. And another B word, but it is being brave to really work through and show up and really let that voice out. Even though you think that no one's going to hear you, or you said one too many ahs and ums, who cares? You showed up and you were brave to do it.
Okay, great. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I would just love, we are on a huge paradigm shift with what's going on in our world in 2021. And this may sound like a very biased statement, but I really believe this is time for women to really step up and speak up. We got some trailblazers out there really paving the way for all of us. It's time for us to really own our voices.
I could not agree more, Kim. And your program sounds amazing. And I know there are so many women out here who really want to feel more confident in their message and in their visibility. So I really want to thank you for being here today, sharing your expertise and supporting women leaders. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.